Today we'll be looking at Finding Nemo. Here we go.
Officially come to order. Let us all say the pledge. I am a nice shark, not a mindless eating machine. If I am to change this image, I must first change myself. Fish are friends, not food.
Finding Nemo is Pixar's fifth movie, released in 2003. At the time, Finding Nemo was the highest grossing animated movie that made $871 million worldwide. It was also the best-selling DVD at the time until it was eventually passed by Toy Story 3.
Did you see me? Did you see what I see?
You so totally rock, Squirt! So give me some fin. Noggin. Dude.
Just from that clip alone, you can see how quotable this movie is. When I was going back to this movie and just thinking about growing up, how much I quoted this movie throughout my life, it's kind of incredible. There is so many great things that I just repeated all throughout my teen years, so that's also a big plus for this movie in my mind. The only other thing that's kind of close to that is SpongeBob, which is iconic with my generation at least. Other thing shown about that clip was just growth through the characters, showing how he gets from the beginning of just being nervous of letting Nemo do anything to the end where he trusts Nemo and allows Nemo to do what he needs to do. So that's another thing about this movie that is shown in that clip alone. It kind of hits with the other top Pixar movies of just being relatable, that growth, and then like the through line just kind of making sense, being something relatable that most people will see, that parent-child dynamic and letting the kid go and kind of explore it and trusting the kid, I think it is something that everyone kind of goes through at some point.
From this moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Welcome, brother Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Enough of the Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh,
So just updating the rankings, looking at it right now, Bug's Life is at 4, Toy Story is at 3, Monsters Inc. at 2, and Toy Story 2 is currently at 1. Looking at this movie, in my head, it epitomizes what Pixar is. This movie does everything that Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and Toy Story does well, but it does it at that peak level. You have those emotional moments at the very beginning and at the very end. That beginning is probably one of the hardest parts of a movie you'll see, even at a Pixar movie. It gets you every time. You feel for all the characters involved, especially Marlin, just going through something like that. The fact that they got that in a kid's movie is incredible. That kind of emotional moment that as a kid you see how it hurts, but even as an adult, even more so as an adult, you kind of see like the gravity of that moment. The one downside I would say to this movie is it's not as funny as Toy Story 2 or Monsters Inc. But I think it's still funny enough. Like the comedy's there. A good movie doesn't need to be funny to be good either. Just to make that clear. And I think this movie pretty much sums that up. It doesn't overdo it with the comedy, but it's there just in the Dory character. I'd also like to say the Dory and Marlin dynamic is strong too, like Toy Story and Monsters Inc. They got that very strong character dynamic. Also, William Dafoe is fantastic. I didn't realize he was in this movie, but it kind of makes sense. That was one of my favorite characters when I was young. I'm watching these Pixar movies, so the fact that it's William Dafoe is incredible. I love him. He's one of my favorite actors all time, so that's a big plus. And like I said earlier, how quotable this movie also kind of hits for me. With all that said, it's kind of shaping up to be number 1 pretty easily. If I were to give it a grade, I would say those 3, 2, 1 right now, Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Toy Story 2 are all like high 90s, like 91 to like 89. I think this movie's clearly like a 95 to 98. I'd say I would probably go like a 97. In my head, it's clearly one of the better movies made, probably one of the best animated movies made ever. We'll see by the end of this list, but I'm guessing it's going to be at least top 5 at the end of this. With all that said, here's the final list. Bug's Life at number 5, Toy Story at number 4, Monsters Inc. at number 3, Toy Story 2 at number 2, and Finding Nemo at number 1. Like I said, I just think Finding Nemo does everything that that Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and Toy Story, what I kind of like about those movies, just better. And Finding Nemo kind of just hit of what I think of what a Pixar movie is. If you disagree, let me know down in the comics, and if not, still comment anyways, that'd be helpful. And make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.